Mic check. Welcome back. The heck do I got on my shirt? Some water? Man, that's ghetto. Man, that doesn't even look good. Welcome to the 4 week series. Mic check. Good. Turn this on. About to get started. Got my chat on. See if I can fix this light a little bit. That better? Ooh, better. It's kind of bright. There it is. Let's get started. I'm going to share my screen. Now, I got a lot of notes. I got a lot of stuff that I want to share with y'all. And I'm going to just try to get into as much as I can with the time we're allowed. And once again, I want to thank everybody for staying consistent and staying committed to attending these webinars. And hopefully we've made some progress. We've made some progress in your life and everything moving forward. And so I have the chat turned on here to the side. I can see the chat, but I'm gonna share my screen and we'll get started here. Let me see where's this at. All right, I'm gonna share my screen. And during the time of the webinar, if you have any questions, you can just shoot a question in the chat, and and we can answer those questions. So I'm gonna get started here, and what I'll do is, man, last week, man, I want to apologize because uh, last week I was setting up, and I accidentally turned the record off, so I wasn't able to record last week's webinar. Because usually what I'll do is I'll record it and then I'll post it on our YouTube channel for some of the people that might have missed it. Because I know people are getting out of work and they have to pick up the family and stuff. So I usually post it on there to so they can watch the replay. But let's get started, and I'm going to share a little bit about myself and what the purpose of these webinars are, and moving forward. So I grew up with a single mom. My dad took his life when I was about 4 years old, and we moved to a big city. And during that time, I wasn't familiar with the environment. I wasn't familiar with, I didn't have no smaller brothers and sisters. My sister was already going in middle school, going to high school, so she was pretty much already becoming an adult. And so I ended up growing up in the streets and around, not the very best environments. And my mom did provide for us. We did have a roof over our head. We did always have food. We had clothes. It's just I was influenced at a young age, uh, just by the wrong people and not having the right information, and my mom not having the right information either. She didn't really know the proper way to raise me. She just knew that if she was able to feed me and that we were warm, that we would survive. But so at a very young age, I got labeled as a problem child. I got labeled as, maybe, Stan, has a learning disability. Maybe Stan suffers from some kind of issues because he doesn't have a father, whatever the case it may be. But for a long time, I allowed those labels to stick with me. And I assumed that those labels were true. But what I've realized was that we're able to change that. We're able to change what the label is. And a lot of times, whenever we're, raised in an environment where we're not in control of our own mind, and we actually allow labels to get attached to us, and we assume, we start to assume that that's who we are, and so then we start to act out that character of the label that we're giving. And I'll get more into detail on this, but it wasn't until a time I pretty much lost everything, uh, my family speaking, that I decided to make a change, to change my life for the better, and to really educate myself and really understand what I need to do to take my life to the next level. And so I dived into self improvement. I dived into mentors. I dived into coaches. I dived into just taking care of myself. And during that process, I've had the opportunity of working with some of the best, coaches, some of the best mentors, uh, some of the best life coaches, counselors, and really transform the direction of my life and really gain control of that. And I guess, you can kind of see some of the people that I've worked with, and you can kind of see where I kind of, the stages that I've went through in my life. And so the intention of this webinar is really to get you to commit to a weekly meeting. And so our meetings are on Wednesday at 5:30, and we actually go through a formula that we use, and there are 4 areas that we go through, and every week we cover a different area. But every week, I add on to that, or we go into discussion of any questions, and we kind of just go deeper and deeper every week. And the most important thing about it is it creates consistency. So if you are serious about personal growth, if you're serious about taking your life to the next level, taking your career to the next level, you have to be consistent with the growth plan. It's very similar to like going to the gym, right? Because you can go to the gym one time, out of the year, but you're not really going to see no big improvement unless, what. But what about if you're going once a week at the same time every week? You're going to see some improvement, at the end of the year. You're going to start to see some results. Some of the people I've worked with, Brian Tracy, Tim Story, Coach Burt, Sofia Castro, Rafael Vargas, Elena Cardone, uh, uh, Albert Pasiato, uh, Robert Sislo, man, some great people, man, that I've had, and I also want to mention Kay Wakeman, T. Bowman, Michael Coffey. Some of these people made a huge impact in my life, and they shared with me so much knowledge. And I've been blessed to also share that knowledge with people in my industry, and other business owners or other entrepreneurs that are looking to take their life to the next level. And so, what we do here is, so all the webinars are free. We meet every Wednesday at 5:30. The people that want to actually commit and like take it a step further is, I offer, it's $97. And with that $97, it's a one-time fee. But what I do is I send you different assessment tests. One of them is going to be for your habit. One of them is going to be for your brain. And then we have a strength finders test. And then we have some other stronger tests if you're willing to take those. And the reason why these are so important is because you start to get an understanding of how you actually operate as a person. And so every one of us has strengths, right? And most of the time we don't realize our strengths. And if we don't realize our strengths, then we're not going to really know how to take advantage of those strengths. And I'll give you a good example. One of my strengths is responsibility. So basically, what that means is, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, because I know in the back of my mind, I know that I'm committed to doing it. And so that was one of my strengths. And so whenever I had my custom shop, I would always overcommit to a bunch of different projects. And you might have this issue too. Like, I would commit to all these projects, I would commit to all these people, I would commit to doing favors. And because I committed so much, I started to fall short of those commitments because I didn't have enough time, and I couldn't manage my time correctly, and I couldn't manage my energy correctly. And so what happened was my strength actually became my weakness. And it wasn't until I identified that that was my strength, and I learned how to use my strength to get me to where I wanted to go. And so now what I do is I say, okay, if I plan to go to from A to B, I got to make sure that the actions that I'm committing to are going to move me to that B. Okay. Versus just saying okay to everything, and living day by day and letting everything, take control of my time. I'm very cautious of what I commit my time to, because I know it has to be, if I commit my time to it, it has to be moving me to the bigger vision. So we have the $97 thing. It's a one-time fee. I send you those assessments. We also have a massive action principal binder that I send you, and I'll show you some of those. That's 197. It's actually a workbook binder, and also what we do with that binder is it actually goes deeper into discovering your direction. Most of us, I mean, are unsure like what we want to do. Like they're like, if you ask somebody, hey, what are your goals for the next 5 years? They're not really sure, because you can't really come up with your goals that fast. It takes time to really commit. And whenever you have something to work with, like a workbook, it really heightens the chances of you achieving those goals. This is something that we shared a while back. This is from a different uh, webinar, but this is something how our mind actually operates. And so we have, our conscious mind, we have our subconscious mind. These are two different things that we have to remember that operate within us. And a lot of times we're operating like we want to do something, like we know what we need to do. For example, like we all know how to they'll always use this example. We all know how to get a six pack, right? But for some reason we don't all have a six pack. Why? Because our habits. And so part of growing is to understand, I got to start changing my habits. I got to start changing uh things that I'm doing, right? I'm going to get down to the actual subject that we're talking about. And this week we're actually talking about playing to win. Last week, I'll share with you last week we talked about, you know, stop driving in the dark. And what does that mean? Stop driving in the dark. Okay. I'm going to go over this. This was last week. In case you missed it last week, I'm just going to share a little bit about this, and then we'll go into the next one. Okay. So stop driving in the dark. What does that mean? So find your fears. So we all have a fear, and a lot of times that fear is based off of false belief. So if we allow that fear to keep us back, we're never going to move forward. And so there's a lot of different fears. And so the way that you overcome those fears is, first you got to identify, okay, what are some of my fears? And so there's about maybe, I mean, there's multiple fears, right? And I can tell you, like, one of my fears was getting in front of people, like public speaking. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's like a fear for everybody. Like, public speaking is a people fear public speaking. Why? Because they fear maybe uh you know making a fool of themselves. They feel they might look stupid. They feel they might get laughed at. They fear all these things, right? And if you allow that fear to just keep you back, you're never going to pursue public speaking. And maybe you're like, well, I don't feel like I need to ever public speak. Well, maybe you're right. But what if someone asks you to speak on an event, or or you want to share your story with someone because your story might have an impact on someone's life? I mean, that's an opportunity for you to change someone's life. So how do you overcome public speaking, right? You educate yourself on public speaking. Maybe read a book on it. maybe practice in the mirror of public speaking. And what you do is you start to overcome that fear. And there's going to be a lot of different fears. There's a multiple different ways you can process overcoming those fears. Like one of the ways is meditation. One of the other ways is like visualizing the experience, right? So if, for example, if you're terrified of public speaking, you might want to visualize actually public speaking, like actually close your eyes and visualize that you're speaking to someone and you're at an event, and really get deep into like what it feels like. What does it smell like? Who are the people there? How does it feel when everybody applauds? Like really embrace those feelings and those emotions, and that'll help you overcome those fears. Goals, right? Goals is a big thing too. A lot of times we set these goals, but what happens is we allow the fear of the goal to hold us back. For example, like let's say if your fear, I mean, if your goal is to lose 20 pounds in the next 6 months, right? Well, if you say, man, I want to lose 20 pounds in 6 months, and you kind of write this plan. You're like, okay, well, I got to go to the gym every day. I got to work out for an hour. I got to do weights. I got to eat right. I got to make sure that I cut back on my fats. I got to make sure I'm drinking water. No more sodas. No more. Like you start just like listing all these things out, right? And so what happens is whenever you do that, your subconscious mind, uh, it kind of sets these like a sirens, like almost like smoke alarms in your mind, and it's saying, hey, like something's not right, something's not right, something's not right. I'm sensing something's not normal. Okay. And so what tends to happen is you're gonna fight, flight, or you're gonna freeze. And a lot of times we just freeze. Are we just aboard doing the workout because it's too much? So when this happens, you got to break it down to the smallest of the smallest action. And what I mean by that, let's say, for example, if you know that you should be working out, 5 days a week in order to lose the weight, and you're good the first week, but the next week you're like, man, I can't do it. It's like too much. My body's tired. Your mind is like telling you, hey, don't do it. You can't do this. It's too much work. We don't like it. So you're gonna have to break it down to smaller. Maybe you can say, okay, you know what? Instead of going to the gym for an hour a day, I'm just gonna wake up in the morning. I'm gonna do 10 push-ups. You know, and so you break it down to the smallest of the smallest to where it's not even really a big deal anymore. And once you get that momentum going, you can start to increase it. I know they use like the analogy a lot of the boiling water, the frog, where if you throw the frog in the boiling water, the frog's gonna jump right out. But if you put the frog into water and you slowly heat it up, the frog won't know the difference. So that's the way you want to do that with your subconscious. You want to make the action that's going to move you towards your goal so small that it doesn't really create any conflict within your mind, with your conscious and your subconscious mind. So you want to break it down small enough to where it doesn't really seem like it's going to affect your normal habit, right? Because that's what it comes down to. That takes us into number 3, is the habit. So like we all fall back on these habits because in the morning we get up, and like we have all this energy, we have all this willpower, and as we go through our day, our mental bandwidth runs out. And so mental bandwidth is similar to like a battery. So every time you have to decide what you're going to eat for breakfast, you have to decide what you're going to wear, you have to decide, uh, how are you going to talk to this client, or say you go to the office and you're having to deal with a customer, you're having a bad meeting, you're having something that's taking your mental energy, something that's drawing that energy. Whenever that energy is drawn, you fall back into those old habits. So if those are bad habits, you're gonna fall back into those bad habits. If they're lazy habits, you're gonna fall back to those lazy habits. If they're healthy habits, you're gonna fall back into those healthy habits. So the way to identify this is to start to track your habits. Start to It's called time auditing. So you audit your time. Like if you were to own a store and you were to have to do an audit on the inventory, you audit your time because your time is very, very valuable. Your time is actually more valuable than a product. So if you can audit your time and you could say, okay, what am I doing with the majority of my time? You'll start to identify what those habits are. For example, if you're spending a lot of time on social media, that's probably a bad habit you need to change. If you commit too much time to watching TV, that's also a bad habit. If you commit too much time to maybe eating too late, that's a bad habit. Just whatever your habit, if you have a habit of, whenever your friend calls you, you always go out. And so whenever you go out, you end up drinking. And then that drinking, it just kind of has like that domino effect. That could be a habit. Okay. So do a time audit and say, okay, you know what? I got these 10 habits that I need to eliminate, and start with the one. Like, don't try to do five at one time. Don't try to do, you know, 10 at one time. Don't try to do three. Start with one habit and slowly start to transition that habit. Because if you try to do everything at one time, you're going to have a overload, mental overload, and you're going to relapse and you're going to go back into your old ways. Triggers are going to be very cool. Triggers, I actually made a note on this. Let's see if I can find my note here. Triggers are going to be things that remind you. The best example of a trigger is like whenever you hear a song and that song takes you back to a memory. It takes you back to an event. It takes you back to a moment in life, whether you're happy, sad, whatever the case, that song will take you back. You need to create these triggers moving forward. For example, if you know your goal and your dream, and you know that by losing 20 pounds, it's gonna create a better life for you. You need to attach that with the trigger. So for example, you can use, like, let's say for example, the Rocky song, right? So let's just say you think of how you're gonna feel after you lose the 20 pounds. You think of how your friends are gonna react. You think of how your relationships are gonna be better. You think about how much more control you're gonna have over your mind and everything because you're gonna be in a healthier state. Excuse me. You can attach that. You can attach that to that song. And so whenever you hear that song, it's going to remind you of why you're doing it. And so those triggers are basically in place to get your mind to snap back into, hey, this is what we're doing. This is why we got to do it. This is what's going on. So the triggers are going to be very, very important moving forward. And so songs, uh if you listen to powerful speeches, if you listen to motivational videos in the morning, sermons, phrases, pictures, all these things are going to be triggers for you. They're going to be triggers to help you move forward. Reward. So you always want to have some kind of reward system for yourself. And so one of the best things to do, like say for example, you do you get up in the morning and it start basic, right? You do 10 push-ups, right? Or you do 10 setups, or you do 10 jumping jacks, and that's just to start the momentum. That's to help you start, you know that momentum. You need to reward yourself with something, right? And so that can be like a tea or something with maybe some caffeine. Something's going to help you, you know it's going to reward that action. So you need to make sure you're rewarding the action that's moving you forward. And you want to make sure that you're rewarding yourself with something heavy, like healthy. You don't want to just get up in the morning and then do 10 push-ups, 10 jumping jacks, and then go eat some McDonald's or something, big Starbucks crazy drink that's gonna set you back. You want to make sure that you're doing something that's actually going to be beneficial for you. And it doesn't have to be something big. It can be something small. And like for me, I like drinking tea in the morning, so I'll drink a lot of teas. Some of them have caffeine, some of them don't have caffeine, but that's my reward. I drink a tea, maybe put a little bit of like brown sugar with like it's a brown sugar Splenda mix, a little bit, so the sweetness, and so it kind of gets me going. You know, in the morning I do my workout, do my walk, meditation, drink a little bit of tea. So it kind of I have like this triangle cycle, right? The triggers, you know, I have a light in the morning. I have our alarm or something that triggers me to get up. I go do my action, and then I have a reward. Beliefs is going to be very, very important. I think I have a slide to show on beliefs. And so we have these belief systems. Let me see if I can go to that. We have this belief system. Oh, we have this belief system, right? And this is going to be very, very powerful right here. So I'm going to be successful, right? So this might be an affirmation that you have, and so an affirmation is basically something that you're telling yourself, you know I'm going to be successful, I am healthy, I am positive, I am motivated. These are affirmations. You can use these affirmations. The real change comes whenever you start to embrace those affirmations. And for example, like, you might say, I'm going to be successful, but your subconscious also has beliefs. So your conscious and your subconscious have belief system, right? And so maybe deep down, you don't believe that you're going to be success. You're going to achieve massive success. Maybe you don't think you're smart enough, right, to achieve massive success. And so you're having this battle within your mind of what you want to achieve and what you really believe you can achieve. And so you have to get these aligned. Once you align these two, then that's when transformation really starts to happen. And you're probably thinking, well, how do I change this, right? How do I change, you know, my subconscious belief? Well, it's through deeper affirmation. Okay, so you have to reword it. Say, you know what, I am smart enough to achieve massive success. And so you start to change these subconscious beliefs so that they align with your conscious beliefs. And this is work. This all takes work, and that's the purpose of like the binder. See, I mean, you can these webinars are basically like watching like a workout video of how to do the exercise, how to work out, but you actually need to get some weights. You actually need to get uh, a binder, a spiral, something to track your performance. If not, you're not gonna see any progress. You need to do the physical work. You got to do the physical work. This webinars are basically just like vitamins. I'm giving you vitamins. I'm giving you vitamins, and the vitamins will help you. But just imagine, if you're doing the vitamins, you're taking the work, and you're also like seeking out new information. You're actually doing the work. You're committed to the work. So now things are going to start to change. I added this on there as like a bonus. And what this is, these are all characteristics, right? And this is pretty interesting right here too, because look, everybody says they're like a certain person, right? So, for example, someone can be a loving person. Someone can be a loving person. Someone can be a friendly person, uh, charismatic, charming, childish person, right? Brave. Like, these are all like characteristics of a person, right? The cool thing about this is you can, with the decision, with the personal decision, you can decide what characteristics you want to be. You can decide your character. You can decide who you want to be. You can decide who you want to be. And one way to do this, I'm going to add this, is, and you can just ask yourself, like, who am I? Like, who am I? Like, who am I? Who am I? Uh, or who do I want to be? Who do I want to be? And so those are two powerful questions. Who am I? Who am I? Like, think about that. Like, ask yourself, who am I? This might be this might be the epiphany moment that you needed to come across. Who am I? Like, ask yourself, who am I? and really and defined of who you are. And if you're not happy with who you are, change it. Like if you're not happy with who you are, change it. Like no one like you think about this. As babies, we're like a brand new computer. Like it's a brand new hard drive. And so a lot of times we've been programmed and we've had these personality traits, we had these characteristic traits, we've had these things put upon us by our environment, not by not by choice, but by our environment. So maybe it's the time that now is the time to all that, change all that for the better. Say, you know what, I'm going to change my characteristics. I'm going to change who I am. I'm going to start today. And you just adopt the new characteristics you want to embrace. So let's get into this one, playing to win. This is what this week we're talking about. And this is going to be very, very, very powerful because look, what is the end result, right? And so whenever you make the end result clear, whenever you make the end result clear of what you're trying to achieve, you know, within the year, the 5 years, 3 years, the month, then your actions become more clear. Then your direction becomes more clear. Then you start to come across opportunities that have been right in front of you, but you've never paid attention to because you weren't clear of the end result. So being clear of the end result is really going to determine what you commit your time to. How long to double your money? So this is going to be very, very powerful because this approaches your opportunities logical. Like, okay, if I'm going to invest in this person, if I'm going to invest my time in training this person, if I'm going to invest my time in this real estate property, if I'm going to invest my time in this business, how long is it going to take me to double my money? And so you start to do like the numbers game. Like you say, okay, if I invest this 10,000, how long till I double my money? How long till I get my investment back? And you can do this with anything. Like this is not just like stock. This is with anything that requires money, an investment. Take the time to ask yourself how long to double your money. How long is it going to take you to double that investment? Focus on your main vehicle. So this is something that I discovered years back, and so what that means is mastering what you're good at, and really getting that vehicle down to perform get it to perform like at a peak level. For example, this might be a business. This might be a business that you have, and that you're not committing uh, the time that you're needing to grow that business. This might be a skill that you have. This might be maybe you're a carpenter, maybe you're a technician, maybe you're uh, a hairstylist, maybe you're a cook, maybe you're a consultant, maybe you're a marketing, whatever the vehicle is, that whatever's your main source of income. Okay, uh, focus on mastering that. How do you become the best at doing that? Because once you become the best at doing that, it's gonna increase your income. And when you increase your income with this main vehicle, then you have more opportunities to move into bigger deals, because this vehicle is actually producing at a higher rate. To now you can dump money into other investments. Negotiation. So negotiation is going to be very important uh, to making investment deals, and just in life general, because negotiation requires to understand what the other person wants, what their pain points are. And a lot of times we think of negotiation as like, well, I'm going to outsmart them to get what I want. And that's not really negotiation. Negotiation is really finding out what's best for the other person, but also what's best for you. And you can say it's a win-win, but I wouldn't say it's so much a win-win, because whenever it's a win-win, you're actually like losing something. So there's not, I don't believe there's no such thing as like a win-win situation. Whenever you're, whenever you say that, like something's got to give either one way or the other. And so you always want to find out what are they actually wanting out of the deal. For example, let's just say for example, you're trying to buy an investment property, right? And you're trying to get it at the lowest price, and you're like, well, I'm going to negotiate them down to the lowest price so I can get this deal, right? And so now your main focus is to get them down to the lowest price, and maybe they're not really cooperating correctly with you. And so you're thinking, man, like they just want all this money, you know, uh, you know, they're trying to rip me off, like whatever, right? But what if their main thing wasn't about the money? Their main thing was like, hey, you know what? We want to sell you our property, but we want to make sure that you we just want to know what you're gonna do with it because it has sentimental value. Like it has a meaning to us. We don't want to sell you this property if you're just gonna tear it down. We don't want to sell you this property if you're just gonna, repaint it and it's gonna look like a completely different place. Like, so you might want to ask them like, okay, what would you want to happen out of this deal? Like, what are the things that what are you trying to do? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want to? What would make you happy out of this deal? What are some of the things you're concerned about? What are the things that you would like to happen? Because like they might not care about the price. They might just want to make sure that you're gonna keep the property uh the way it looks, or you're just gonna, maybe it had like, maybe that was their parents' house or it has sentimental value. Maybe they just want you to promise them that you're gonna keep the house looking as much as possible as the same. You're not gonna go tear it down. You're not gonna, do nothing crazy to it because that has memory to them. That's all they cared about. So they never cared about the money. They just wanted to make sure that you're gonna maybe not destroy the house or not tear it down. So negotiate is gonna be very powerful. Develop skills that will increase your income. So you can read a lot of books and you can know a lot of stuff, but until you acquire more skills that help solve problems, it's not really going to increase your income. So make sure that you're learning about skills that will add value to help solve problems. If you can develop a skill that's going to help solve someone's problem, it's going to generate more income. And so update your mind. What this means is the average person uh, reads maybe half a book a year, and that book is like a magazine or it's like a newspaper. So make sure you're constantly educating yourself. Make sure you're constantly growing. The ways you can do this is through podcasts, through audiobooks, through YouTube videos, through seminars, through mentors, through coaches. uh, always in, Always increase your knowledge. It's If not, what happens is you become obsolete. And one thing that I like whenever I meet someone, if they say, yeah, I've been doing this for 25 years, I always ask, when was the last time they went to some kind of conference? What book are they reading? um, when was the last time they took an online course? Because a lot of times it's not that they've been doing that, it's not they have 25 years experience. They just been doing the same thing for 25 years. So they haven't really increased their value in the marketplace. They just been doing the same thing for 20 years. But if they say, hey, you know what, like, man, every year I update my mindset. I read this many books. I do these seminars. I have these students. I coach these classes. I do online training. I'm involved with this. That means that person is up to date with their information, and that person is going to help you solve some major issues and solve some big problems and earn some big money. Step three is this is the proper way to move forward with any kind of obstacle. So an obstacle is, you could say, it's a goal. Once you have a goal, then you come up with strategies to achieve that goal. From the strategies, you come up with tactics. Most people will approach the day with tactics. And so they're doing all this tactical stuff. And the tactical stuff is not really helping a strategy. And that strategy is not focused on a goal. So whenever you come up with a goal, say, okay, this is my goal. What are my different strategies of accomplishing this goal? And what are the tactics that I need to do to have all this stuff work together? This is going to be another good one too. Time, money, emotional energy. So whenever you're presented an opportunity, whenever you're looking to do a business deal, whenever you're looking to partner with someone, whenever you have a new client, whatever the situation is, always ask yourself these three things. How much time is it going to cost me? How much money? And how much emotional energy is this going to cost me? Because look, if you're trying to do business with someone that doesn't believe some of the things that you believe, or for example, let's just say for example, if if a customer comes in, a client comes in, right, and that client is is just worried about trying to get the lowest price. They don't care about anything else. They just want to pay the lowest price. But I believe that, in order to do a quality repair, we have to have the best resources. We have to have the best information. We have to have the best people in place, and in order to have those in order to have the best people in place, in order to have the best systems in place, we have to charge a premium for our product. We have to charge a premium for our service. Well, we charge a premium. They don't want to pay anything, so that automatically is going to create some kind of confusion, disagreement, conflict, whatever you want to call it. So a lot of times you got to say, you know what, thank you, but no thank you. Uh, this is not gonna be a good relationship. We don't want the same things. It's not gonna be a good partnership. It's not gonna be a good transaction. And so you can walk away from that ahead of going into it, because look, you don't want to use all your emotional energy or someone that's going to try to like lowball you, or someone that's going to really waste your emotional energy. Because look, we only have so much bandwidth per day, and you want to use that bandwidth as much as you can to be creative, to solve problems. How are you going to move yourself forward to accomplish your goals? So hey, that's going to be very, very important. Let me know if you have any questions. I think we're back here. Let me know if you have any questions, and I appreciate everybody that's watching. I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate all the texts and stuff. And so, hey, back what we do is we offer the $97. What it is, it's $97 a one-time fee. I send you three assessment tests. There's actually four. There's four assessment tests that I'll send you. But this actually gives you a clarity on who you are as a person. If you're interested in learning more about it, I can send you the booklet. Let me show you the booklet really quick. I think the booklet's gonna be pretty sick. Let me see what this is gonna be next week. If y'all join us next week, we're gonna go over this, connecting everything. This is some bonus stuff here that I offer. This is some other stuff that we offer too. These are all this free stuff that I want to throw in there, but this is definitely a book. You should definitely check it out. It's a very powerful book. Uh, it helps you get a clear understanding of your mindset. Let me see if I can bring another screen up. So this is actually the booklet. This is actually the maps. It's a massive action principle booklet workbook. And so basically we start to ask some deep questions on how to take your how to clarify your goal, how to clarify your the destination, the milestones. Where do you want to go? Family, career. We have a bunch of great stuff in this binder, and also you will also get access to meet up with me and ask any questions. We can do one-on-one calls. All that stuff is included. So, like I said, the booklet is 197. I want to say it's 197, 199, somewhere on there, 197. And then the sign up is $97. And man, to be honest, man, the guys that have committed to the $97 and they took the assessments, man, they're really uh happy with that because some of them were like, man, I didn't even think this was possible that I can learn this stuff. I didn't even think it was possible that I can change my situation. And so, man, that's what the blessing is this, like, everything that I've done over the years. um I'm able to share it. I'm able to share it and know that we're able to make an impact in people's life. But hey, guys, I thank y'all for y'all's time. If y'all have any questions, I'll put a link below. Reach out to me. Let me know. I'm on Instagram as well. The Stan Medina. You can message me on Instagram. I'll reply to your messages. If you want to get on a 15-minute call, we can set that up too. I can help you answer any questions, help you set help you set the foundation for what you need to do to move forward. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel, man, because I usually put the replays on this. If you go to our playlist, you'll see some of the past videos. And if there's something that sparks your attention, if there's something that you're curious to know more about, send me a DM on Instagram, and I'll definitely connect with you, and I'll share with you some more information. I appreciate y'all's time. Thanks for watching.